Madam Mayor, I need to recuse myself from this item. I lease a property within the development.
Item number 4 is to modify the financial assurance for Skyborne Ventures LLC. Jonathan?
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, the item before you is a request from Skyborne Ventures LLC to modify the form of their financial assurance from a performance bond to a lien contract. Staff has reviewed this request and has determined the following. The proposed financial assurance for lien agreement, a lien contract, is an acceptable method of assurance under the California Subdivision Map Act. An as-is value ratio of 2 to 1 was confirmed based on the appraisal that was performed back in August. A lien contract was prepared and reviewed by the city attorney. The city will also receive approximately $100,000 in security payments annually. Based on this review, staff recommends to approve the agreement for a lien contract and to authorize the city manager to execute that lien contract upon approval performed by the city attorney. The owner's representative is here tonight and would also like to make a presentation to council.
Madam Mayor, if I may, before the applicant speaks up, I want to make one correction to the city engineer's report. The lien agreement was prepared by counsel for the developer. I reviewed it and made modifications, but I did not prepare it.
Madam Mayor, council members and staff, my name is James Kozak. I'm one of the owners of Skyborne Ventures, which is the owner of the Skyborne property that we're discussing. When we acquired this property from D.R. Horton, one of our responsibilities was to replace the existing bonds that D.R. Horton had on the property. This was approximately about a year, in September of last year. During the last year, we've all seen the financial crisis that has ripped through Wall Street with directly affecting a lot of bonding companies. AIG, at the time we bought the property, was being supported by the U.S. government. AIG has several bonds on the project. Several bonding companies have incurred significant losses in other real estate sectors throughout the country. So there's been a very big upheaval in the bonding community. So we started looking at ways that might be that we might go forward in replacing these bonds. And about 6 months ago, I met with staff to discuss some different options about how we might go forward and do this, because the last thing I wanted to do was replace bonds with a bonding company that then may end up going out of business a year or two from now, and we'd end up losing money and have to do it, 2 or 3 times again. So one of the things that, as staff, as city engineer has mentioned, city engineer Hoy, is that the Subdivision Map Act is one of the allowable sources of providing assurance for performance with a lien. The reason why you don't see a lien very often is because in order to use this type of performance collateral, you need to be able to offer the city a first trustee, which in today's financial world is probably the highest form of collateral you can receive. Most property owners today cannot deliver that to a city because most people, when they buy property, end up incurring debt to purchase the property, whether it be seller financing or through a bank or some other lender. In this particular case, our venture was able to purchase the property with cash, and so we do not have a first trustee. So we can offer a first trustee as collateral, which is a significant improvement in performance and safety for the city, unlike other forms of collateral like performance bonds, which come through a bonding company, which may or may not write a check if they're asked to write a check, or even a letter of credit. There's a risk factor with letters of credit, and the fact that a lender can go bankrupt, and then you could wait months or years to try to perfect that form of letter of credit. So after meeting with staff, doing some more investigating, we did find that other cities have been doing this as well. Just quick research showed that the city of Fresno, city of Fontana, cities of Clovis, Calabasas, Tracy, Newark, Adelanto, Moreno Valley, and San Jacinto are all cities that have undertaken this process with people that can offer a first deed of trust on a property. So we think it's a win-win situation for the city and ourselves, because we don't have to worry about whether if we went with other performance bonds, whether those bonds would be good or not. And we think it's a benefit that can work for both parties. So I'm here to answer any questions that anybody might have in terms of specifics.
I have a couple of questions. Some from staff and some from you, Mr. Kozak. First of all, do we have any verification through title search that the property is free and clear?
No, but as part of the agreement, before we would execute with them, that would have to be in place. And as soon as they're recordable, we would find out for sure, if the lien's in place. But I believe, based on the information I've reviewed, that I'm sure there is no lien on the property.
Okay, I have a couple more questions.
Madam Mayor, just to further follow up on that, we wouldn't be able to execute and record this document unless it was free and clear.
Now, in the future, when you go for a construction loan, this property is collateral. That lender will not accept second place.
Now, every lender has different criteria based on how much collateral you put up and what your business plan is. One of the things we have to realize here that in this particular project, at the time D.R. Horton was starting construction, the market was at its peak or close to its crest, and they wanted to go as fast as possible. So they put bonds on everything so they could not be delayed. And in the normal course of development, especially in today's marketplace, you would go on a phase-by-phase basis. So we have a mechanism in the lien contract where we can, provided the values are 2 to 1, that there are ways, because the property already has tentative maps on the property, and we also have some final maps on the property, that we can do this by parcels when we're ready to begin construction. So there are some flexible measures in here that will allow us to gradually develop the project as the market returns. So it does provide some flexibility here, but the important thing here is that nothing can be done unless the city approves it. So you're in the control position in this particular case.
The existing bonds that you have, why do you want to disregard them or do away with them?
These bonds are D.R. Horton bonds, and they no longer own the property. So typically, the property owner has to provide bonds for the property that it owns, and so that's why we're required to replace them.
Okay, so
and some of these bonding companies are out of the business, so they're not writing any more new bonds.
So in the process of having to do this, what are you finding out there in the bond market, in the third-party bond market?
Well, right now there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of uncertainty, and very few people writing bonds today.
Okay. I just have one last thing.